Welcome back everyone to the Bavarian Soundworks video installation guide series. Here we are in the front of an E46 sedan, and this could also be an E46 wagon. We're going to go over our front door speaker installation procedures as well as our rear door and rear deck. So to begin, let's identify the 4 or 5 actually different mounting locations of our screws. There's a couple screws behind this panel, one behind this, and two down here. So to begin, I kind of like to start with the most challenging of the pieces, if you will. So let's take our plastic panel removal tool, and again, always plastic, never metal on a door panel. And there's a little lip right here we can get our tool in, and it just pops right out. So we don't do any permanent damage to anything. We've revealed a Torx T20 bolt back here. So we'll get that removed. Very straightforward. Then we'll go ahead and we're going to move down here. We've got 2 little fasteners down here. Again, we use our plastic tool to pop it out. It's just a little plastic clip. Comes right out nice and easy. Comes out. It's going to reveal 2 more Torx T20 bolts. So we get those guys loose. And they're not exactly coming out. They don't always come out with the driver. So when you take your panel off, just be cautious because the screws will fall out. It's no big deal, but be aware of it. So with those guys loose, we still need to get these 2 guys out. And to do that, we'll come on this back edge. Again, plastic panel removal tool. And once we get that first one free with the tool, we then use our fingers. And some of these are significantly tighter than others. So be very cautious when you're doing this. Like this one is unbelievably snug. There we go. There we go. These are all coming out, so we'll just have to put those back in. And it's actually good because I can show you how to do that. Yeah, this one was extremely tight. I have not seen one like that in a while. So we might as well go over that process. So these all actually stayed in. So in the event these do come out of the door panel, we just need to reinstall them, and it's not complicated. You're going to need a couple pairs of pliers. So we just kind of rock it out of here. And again, this one is proving to be extremely tight. I'm not going to spend much more time on this. Just get it out of there. It comes out. You can finagle it out of there. We're not going to spend all afternoon looking at that. So let's just pretend we got everything back in line and go ahead and get these bolts out in the interest of time and instructions. So we'll get this guy out. We'll get this guy out. This one's always really tight because it's threaded into plastic back behind the door. So be very deliberate in the removal process because you don't want to harm anything. And truth be told, I should have also rolled this window down, which makes things a little bit safer. Let's go ahead and actually do that before we take the panel off. Ooh, little Phil Collins. Okay, so we've got all of our screws out, so the panel is now free to be removed from the door itself. So again, let's take our plastic panel removal tool, wedge it back here behind this panel, and I can't imagine how tight this door is going to be if everything else was. This is a tight panel, my goodness. Again, I'm just using my fingers though, so you can see this. Okay, that was actually nice. So with that free, we're going to come up to the top edge, use our fingers. And you can see these tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just snap it off like so. And if you guys can come back here, I can show you how to remove the door handle. Just very simple, little hook there, it just snaps off. And now we'll unplug. This is the best built E46 I have ever encountered. It is snug. So that'll free up our speaker harness, which will unplug our mid-range, unplug our mid-bass. And with the door panel free, we'll now take it over to our clean workspace and begin our speaker installation. So now that we've got our door panels off and over at our workspace, we're going to start with the front doors. We've got 2 speakers attached to each door. We've got our mid-bass and our mid-range. So let's start with the mid-bass, just because it's attached with some Phillips head screws, and quite frankly, it's simple to do. And again, just like the coupes, these may be Phillips head screws, they may be Torx T25s, T27s. I've seen 8mm bolts, so it could be any number of different sizes. Just be conscientious when you're doing this. So we take our factory speaker out, our BSW driver in. Again, as you can see, it is a flawless fit. And we will take, we want to get the screws kind of, get them in there, get them a little snug, not too much, because we want to get each screw in, and then we'll go back and tighten everything up at the end. Now, another trick that I've kind of come across over the years is that some of these sedans and wagons have, it would seem like they'd be the same depth, but they just don't seem to be. But what we do just to eliminate any kind of confusion, we've had to do this on several occasions, is this rubber bump stop on the speaker, it just pops right off. It gives us a little bit more room to work with. You'll see in the door panel there's metal back in the door itself, and this just gives us a little bit more depth, which sometimes we need, sometimes we don't. I just go ahead and take them off. It's not a concern. And that covers the mid-bass installation. It's very straightforward. Moving on to the mid-range, we're going to take our hand and put it over on the front so the speaker doesn't fall through the door. And then we take our right hand and just unscrew the speaker like such. Move it, we push it through the door. Let's go ahead and stand the panel up and get it out of our way. And so now we've got our mid-range in our hand. And this is a non-Harman Kardon. Harman Kardons are very similar, at least in terms of the installation. But to remove the speaker, we take our angle pick and we just kind of pry these little guys out, because that's actually what's holding the speaker in. And you'll see here momentarily that the speaker will just fall right out. I must have left one still. Oh, yeah, that one's still holding it in. So you got to pry it out far enough, and the speaker just slots right out, which is pretty neat. And so with that speaker out, we kind of pop the little plastic tabs back in, because when we install the new BSW mid, they need to actually function as part of the security. So we get those guys pushed back in. We take our BSW mid, and as you can see, there is a key here on the ring, and there's a key on the mid-range. So it takes, we snap it, the BSW mid in, we push little tabs back in to secure it, and then we're good to go. Now, what we've sent, I think this car should have been sent these. You can see there's a little bit of play in the mid-bass or the mid-range drivers here. So we've instructed you in the PDF instructions to use a little bit of hot glue. That's kind of the way we used to do it. Now we're sending these nice little tubes of an industrial strength adhesive called E6000. You can see on the little tabs, the little plastic tabs, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. You got to be very careful when doing this, because you don't want to get any E6000 on the speaker itself. But you really just need to place 4 dabs, just little tiny, maybe pea-sized, if even that large, size dabs of glue to secure the speaker, roughly, let's just say 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. However you want to do it, you can't do it wrong. We just want to make sure that the speaker can't move around in there. And the advantage of putting it here on these tabs is that if you ever need to get the speaker out, it's easy to use your tool to pry it out and get everything back out of the car and put the stock system back in. So with that part done, let's just assume we just glued this, and then I'll show you how to put it back in. Again, it's keyed, as you can see on the door panel. Very specifically, there's a little flat part across the bottom, and then you can look on your ring and see the flat part with the little key on it, so it goes in very specifically. And you can see it line up back here, like so. And then we just take our ring, tighten it back down, and we're done with that part of the install. Now, you can refer to our sound deadening video, which will show you how to apply sound deadening to the back of the door panel. And from here, we're going to join you back at the car and cover the tweeter installation in the front door.